Hi friends, I'm John, your carnivore teacher. Most people think of fat as one thing, that stubborn layer that we want to lose. But in truth, fat is not just fat. Our body carries several types of fat and each one behaves differently, plays a different role in health, and even stores energy in its own unique way. Understanding these differences can completely change how you think about body composition, metabolism, and long-term health. So let's break it down. Number one, subcutaneous fat. That's the outer layer. This is the fat you can pinch right under your skin, around your belly, your thighs, your arms, your glutes. It's your body's primary energy reserve and insulation layer. Subcutaneous fat acts like a built-in energy bank, there for when food is scarce. It helps regulate body temperature, cushions your muscles and bones, and even plays a role in hormone balance. In moderate amounts, it's not dangerous. In fact, it's normal and necessary. But when you carry too much subcutaneous fat, especially around the belly and hips, it can become inflamed and start releasing cytokines that promote insulin resistance. So think of subcutaneous fat as a storage tank, helpful in small amounts, but problematic when the tank is overflowing. Number two, visceral fat, the hidden danger. Now we get into the type of fat you can't see. Visceral fat lies deep inside your abdomen, packed around your internal organs, your liver, your intestines, your pancreas. And unlike subcutaneous fat, visceral fat is metabolically active. This means it's not just sitting there, it's doing things. Unfortunately, many of those things are destructive. It releases inflammatory molecules. It raises cortisol levels and interferes with insulin signaling, leading to elevated blood sugar, fatty liver, and higher cardiovascular risk. Even if you appear thin on the outside, you can still carry a dangerous amount of visceral fat. That's why you'll hear the term TOFI, T-O-F-I, thin on the outside, fat on the inside. Visceral fat is one of the strongest predictors of chronic disease and early mortality. The good news? It's also the first kind of fat your body tends to burn when you go low carb, carnivore, or start fasting. When insulin drops and fat metabolism kicks in, visceral fat gets mobilized first because it's highly responsive to hormonal changes. Number three, intramuscular fat, the energy within. This is the small amount of fat stored inside your muscles, not to be confused with the marbling in a steak, though the analogy's pretty close. In a healthy person, intramuscular fat is a fuel reserve that your muscles can draw on during exercise or fasting. Endurance athletes actually tend to have more of this kind of fat, and that's not a bad thing. But in insulin-resistant individuals, intramuscular fat can start to build up excessively, clogging cellular machinery and interfering with glucose uptake. This is one reason why people with metabolic syndrome often lose the ability to burn fat efficiently. The machinery is jammed. On a carnivore or low-carb diet, intramuscular fat tends to normalize as the body becomes metabolically flexible again. Number four, brown fat, the metabolic furnace. Now this one's fascinating. Brown adipose tissue, or brown fat, is metabolically active fat. Instead of storing energy, it burns it. Brown fat is loaded with mitochondria, those little energy factories in your cells, and those mitochondria contain iron, giving the tissue its brown color. Babies are born with plenty of brown fat to help regulate temperature, but adults still retain some, especially around the neck, shoulders, and spine. When activated by cold exposure or fasting, brown fat burns white fat to generate heat. Pretty cool. So yes, things like cold plunges or even turning down your thermostat can help activate brown fat and increase your daily energy expenditure. Number five, beige fat, the hybrid. Beige fat is kind of a convertible fat cell. It can act like white fat when you're in storage mode or like brown fat when your body needs to generate heat. Exercise, fasting, and exposure to cold can turn white fat beige, increasing your body's ability to burn energy instead of storing it. This process is called browning, and it's one of the reasons regular movement and thermoregulation practices support long-term fat metabolism. Number 6, yes, there's another one, essential fat, the fat you need to live. This is the small amount of fat in your brain, in your nerve cells, and your membranes and your organs. It's critical for hormone production, nerve conduction, vitamin absorption, and every cell membrane in your body. For men, essential fat is around 2 to 5%. For women, it's higher, about 10 to 13%, because it's necessary for reproductive health and hormone balance. This is the fat you never want to lose completely, no matter how lean you get. So let's put this all together. When people say, I want to lose fat, what they really mean is they want to lose excess subcutaneous and visceral fat, the storage and inflammatory kinds, while keeping essential and intramuscular fat intact. The best way to do that? Stop feeding the fat storage hormones. Keeping insulin low through a proper human diet, rich in animal fats and proteins, and your body will naturally burn the right kind of fat first. You'll keep your essential and structural fats intact while melting away the dangerous visceral and excess subcutaneous stores. Fat is not your enemy. It's part of your design. Your body's fat distribution tells a story about your metabolism, your hormones, and your health. When you understand what each kind of fat does, you stop fearing it and start working with your biology, not against it. That's how you reclaim your metabolic power. If you liked this content and you got some information, please share it with somebody by pushing the share button and sending it off to different places. If you subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon, you'll get a notification that I put out a video every single day, as short as this one or shorter, teaching a concept about health and usually about carnivore related to good health. If you leave me a question or a comment or a suggestion in the comments section, I read them all and I respond to all of you, and I will write you back. If it's a suggestion, I'll make a video from it. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.